It is Canelo Alvarez fight week, and this is the thing that I'm most excited about. With a big weekend coming up with 301, with Backlash, and this is the one that is the main event for me. Canelo against Munguia. This is going to be a blast. I think we've seen we just saw Canelo's best performance in a while in the last fight against Charlo. And so I think that has reinvigorated a lot of the conversation around Canelo Alvarez and a lot of the excitement around this guy. And so I do think it's going to be really interesting to see what type of Canelo shows up. Is he going to be that hunter one more time going up against a Munguia? Is he going to be content counterpunching in this fight? We'll get into the breakdown as the week goes along. He may not have a choice when it comes to the counterpunching because of how Munguia goes about his business. But they're at least coming off of that Charlo fight. There at least now is a buzz again around Canelo Alvarez fights, and it again feels like a big deal because coming off of the loss and then the Gennady Golovkin, and then the Ryder, this is now like, okay, we've seen it again. Now let's keep that ball again, keep that momentum going, and I think it's going to be a crazy fight because Munguia is just allergic to not having entertaining bouts. He is the type of fighter that I think will bring it out of Canelo Alvarez. Because Canelo, because of how he is so technical and so quick and can read fighters so well, he likes to counterpunch. Munguia is going to give him a lot of opportunities to counter because the first shot's going to be coming a lot. And so I think that pressure from Munguia is going to... I think it plays right into Canelo's hands. So I think it's a tough matchup for Munguia. You can see why he takes it. Like, it's going to be the biggest fight of his life. And if he wins, holy shit. But I do think that the style-wise, it becomes a little difficult for Munguia to manage. But I do think that this is it's such a smart fight for Canelo to take. And look, like I said, it makes sense for Munguia. This is going to be the biggest payday of his life. It's going to be the biggest stage he's ever fought on. And if he happens to land one of the 45,000 big shots that he throws, then I'm not going to say he's now all of a sudden a superstar, but it at least transfers into another payday, which you can transfer into another one. Like, you can, even if you lose, you can build a few decent paydays in a row off of losing to Canelo Alvarez, especially if you do it in a fun fight. And so I think for the Canelo brand, this one makes a whole lot of sense because I think it is going to be an action fight. I think it is going to be a very visually appealing bout, but I think it is going to be remarkably winnable for Canelo, and it plays into his styles really, really well. So I think this was a smart bout for Canelo to take. And I do think there's going to be a lot of conversation coming out of this one about, are we getting a David Benavidez fight coming up Mexican Independence Day weekend back in September? That is it's the last big fight, I think, for Canelo. Not that this isn't, but this fight is big because it's Canelo. That fight is big because it is Canelo against the guy who a lot of people think is going to take that torch from him and run. So is it a torch passing fight, or is it Canelo reasserting his dominance as still the guy, not only in Mexican boxing, but in boxing in general? Because there's been a lot of talk over the last year and a half about who is the face of boxing. Make absolutely no mistake about it. The face of boxing is fighting this weekend, and it ain't Munguia. It is still Canelo, and he has, I think, set himself up now to push forward and get quite a few still real big fights out of this run. We're going to have a lot of coverage on Canelo throughout the week. Coming up later this week, we're going to do the legacy look on him, and we are going to be doing a full fight breakdown coming up on Friday.